On President Trump's actions to send the military to respond to the protests in Los Angeles.
Now, while the administration says the federal action is necessary, California's Governor Gavin Newsom called it a, quote, brazen abuse of power. KTVU's Allie Rasmus in the studio with us now to explain what's ahead today. Good morning, Allie.
Good morning, Dave and Pam. Yeah, 1:30 this afternoon is when things will get started. That's when a San Francisco federal district judge will hear arguments from California's attorney general and the Trump administration over this issue and over this lawsuit and the issue of whether it is lawful and constitutional for the president to call up a state's National Guard without a governor's permission. Now, this comes in the wake of several days of protests against ICE and immigration enforcement actions happening in Los Angeles. President Trump commandeered more than 2,000 National Guardsmen and has decided to send in 700 active duty Marines to Los Angeles. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the administration is prepared to do the same if there are protests in other cities. And just as recently as last night, the president defended the decision to send the military to Los Angeles.
If we didn't do what we did, would be burning to the ground.
Deployment of Marines on U.S. soil is an alarming escalation that undermines the values of democracy.
Should a military presence become the norm for policing protests on U.S. streets? That's one of the central questions behind the lawsuit brought by California against the Trump administration.
Is this something that civilian law enforcement cannot handle? Does it require the use of the military to carry out this civilian policing tasks, these law enforcement tasks, which our federal law forbids and has been something that has been taboo now for going back to the Civil War?
Now, in a legal briefing filed yesterday in defense of its actions, the Trump administration argued that the president does have authority over states, including their National Guard troops, with or without the governor's consent, and that members of the military on the ground in Los Angeles are not involved in routine law enforcement, they say, but are instead tasked with protecting federal buildings and federal ICE agents. Back to you, Pam.
All right. Thank you, Allie. A curfew for downtown Los Angeles appears to be working in preventing vandalism. Mayor Karen Bass ordered a second consecutive overnight curfew that expired moments ago at 6 o'clock. It covers a small section of downtown Los Angeles that's been the site of vandalism to businesses. Observers say the situation overnight has been calmer than earlier in the week. Police arrested more than 200 people from Tuesday into early Wednesday morning.
A week ago, everything was peaceful. Things began to be difficult on Friday when raids took place.
ICE is defending its actions after agents used their cars to pin a suspect in an East Los Angeles neighborhood. Witnesses say authorities rammed the suspect's car and took him into custody after firing some type of smoke grenade or tear gas. By this weekend, 700 Marines are expected to join 2,100 National Guard troops in Los Angeles.